The movie starts with a father named Cooper. Cooper is currently driving with his daughter, Riley. We learn that Cooper and Riley are on their way to the concert of a very famous singer named Raven. It turns out that Cooper promised Riley he would take her to this concert if she did well in her studies, and she succeeded with flying colors, so he's keeping his promise. Soon, Cooper and Riley arrive at the concert venue. Before entering, they stand with the crowd, eagerly waiting for Raven to appear. When Raven finally arrives, Riley waves and tries to greet her, just like everyone else in the crowd, because everyone loves her. This makes Riley incredibly happy. Cooper then takes Riley inside the concert hall. He notices police officers scattered around the venue, which makes him a bit suspicious, but he brushes it off. They enter the concert, and after a short while, Raven takes the stage and begins to sing. Everyone is thrilled, especially Riley, who is completely absorbed, singing along with Raven. After a while, Cooper tells Riley he's going to the restroom and will be right back. Riley agrees and he leaves. Once in the restroom, Cooper takes out his phone and watches a video from hidden surveillance cameras in a small house, where he sees someone tied up and held captive. We still don't know who this person is or what connection Cooper has to them. Cooper returns to the concert to watch Raven with Riley, but he's distracted, observing the police officers stationed everywhere in the venue in an unusually large number, giving the whole place an unsettling vibe. During a break, Cooper and Riley step out of the concert hall and walk around the venue. They come across a staff member named Jimmy, who is selling t-shirts with Raven's image. Riley likes a particular t-shirt, but another girl ahead of her buys the last one. Jimmy tells Cooper he can get another t-shirt soon, as he'll bring more from storage. Cooper seizes the opportunity to ask Jimmy why there are so many police officers at the venue. Jimmy warns him not to tell anyone, but explains that the police and FBI are here in large numbers tonight because they have intel that a serial killer known as the Butcher will be at the concert. The Butcher is a notorious killer who has evaded capture for years. The police are confident he'll be there tonight, which is why so many officers and guards are stationed around the venue. Hearing this, Cooper starts to feel tense, and we begin to suspect that he might actually be the Butcher whom the police are looking for. Cooper then tells Riley they need to leave immediately, and although she doesn't understand, she agrees. However, soldiers are stationed at the exit, preventing anyone from leaving. Cooper devises a plan. He subtly pushes a girl down the stairs, causing a commotion as all the guards rush to help her. Cooper grabs Riley, planning to leave, but is surprised to see guards stationed outside the venue as well. Cooper decides to go back into the concert, searching for another escape route. This time, he notices a stage entrance trapdoor that singers use to make dramatic entrances. Seeing this, he gets an idea to escape through it and suggests to Riley that they should explore it as a fun game. Riley finds her father's behavior strange, sensing that something is off, but he reassures her, saying he's just joking. He then tells her he'll get her that t-shirt from Jimmy and leaves to do so. When he finds Jimmy, Jimmy hasn't brought the t-shirts yet but mentions he's heading to storage. Cooper offers to help, and as they walk to storage, Cooper discreetly steals Jimmy's pass card. Cooper then casually asks Jimmy about the Butcher, wondering if they've caught him yet. Jimmy explains that the police recently briefed him and the other staff members, giving them code names to identify each other in case they suspect the Butcher is disguising himself as one of them. Jimmy reveals his code name, Hamilton, which Cooper memorizes. Satisfied, Cooper leaves and heads to a room in the venue, unlocking it with Jimmy's pass card. Inside, he finds several officers, including the chief, who is briefing his team on how dangerous the Butcher is and how vigilant they need to be. Cooper pretends to be just an ordinary worker and grabs a cup of coffee. Before leaving, he secretly swipes a wire from the police equipment, unnoticed by anyone. Afterward, Cooper returns to the concert, but this time he notices the police arresting someone from the audience because they suspect he might be the Butcher. Cooper sees that the person leading the police operation is an elderly woman named Grant. He doesn't feel comfortable around her, but he doesn't act on it and simply goes back to the concert. Cooper then puts on the earpiece he stole earlier to stay updated on the police's movements. While listening, Cooper hears Grant talking through the radio to all the officers, telling them that the person they just detained is not the killer. She mentions that she's suspicious of someone in the concert hall wearing a yellow jacket and sitting in a specific area. Since Cooper himself is wearing a yellow jacket and is seated in that exact area, he realizes Grant is referring to him. Naturally, he becomes very anxious and tells Riley that he left his credit card with Jimmy, so he needs to go and retrieve it. He asks Riley to meet him at a specific spot in the venue during the next break, and she agrees without question. Cooper leaves and heads to a small restaurant in the venue, where he places a bottle of liquor into the fryer. This causes a small explosion in the kitchen, drawing everyone's attention to see what happened. Taking advantage of the chaos, Cooper steals an apron from one of the venue staff and quickly heads up to the rooftop to look for an escape route. However, instead of finding a way out, he encounters 2 police officers on the roof. He casually acts like he's just another worker taking a break. He then asks the officers about Grant, the one in charge of capturing the butcher. The officers explain that Grant is a psychologist and criminal profiler brought in for high-profile cases like this one. In fact, she's known for capturing multiple killers over the years. This revelation shocks Cooper, and he grows even more anxious. After chatting briefly with the officers, he heads back down to the concert. Once back in the concert hall, Riley excitedly tells Cooper that Raven's next song will involve bringing someone from the audience up on stage to sing with her. The lucky person will even get access to the backstage area and be allowed to hang out there. At that moment, Cooper realizes that if he wants to escape, the only way out is through the backstage area. So he decides he has to make sure Riley is the one chosen to sing on stage with Raven, which would give him a chance to find an escape route from backstage. He goes to a member of Raven's team and lies, telling him that his daughter Riley is battling cancer and that singing on stage with Raven would mean the world to her. Touched, the staff member agrees to bring her on stage. A little while later, this staff member comes back and escorts Cooper and Riley toward the stage. Riley is overjoyed as they head backstage, and soon another assistant approaches her to explain how everything will go and what she'll do when she's on stage with Raven. After getting all the instructions, Riley finally takes the stage with Raven, singing alongside her, overjoyed. Meanwhile, Cooper notices that one of the dancers on stage is looking unwell and seems faint. Quickly, he steps in to help her and takes her to the venue's medical room. Raven's assistant witnesses this act and is impressed by Cooper's kindness, offering to let him and Riley stay backstage to watch the final song up close. Cooper is relieved and thanks her for the opportunity, enjoying the last song from backstage with Riley, who's thrilled by the experience. After the concert ends, everyone heads to the dressing room area. At that moment, Raven's assistant tells Cooper that Raven is changing but will come out to greet them soon before they leave. Cooper agrees and asks if they could leave through one of the doors in the dressing room to avoid going back through the main hall. The assistant agrees and informs him that there are a few officers stationed at the door who might ask a few routine questions before letting them go. She leaves Cooper alone to wait. At this point, Cooper realizes that if the officers question him, they'll likely discover that he's the butcher they've been searching for, and he'll be caught. He starts planning another escape route, avoiding the door where the officers are stationed. Soon, Raven arrives to greet Cooper and Riley. Seizing the opportunity, Cooper whispers to Raven, saying he needs to speak with her privately about his daughter's illness. Raven assumes he wants a donation or some form of help, so she agrees and takes him to her room for a quick chat. Once alone, Cooper reveals to Raven that he's the butcher and that the whole concert is a setup to catch him. However, he assures her that he has no intention of getting caught and informs her that she'll be helping him escape by driving him out in her car. Cooper now pulls out his phone and shows it to Raven. He shows her a live video taken from a house, and in this house, there is the young man tied up, the same one we saw at the beginning. Cooper informs Raven that this young man's name is Spencer, and he kidnapped him, leaving him in the house with a bomb. He tells her that if she doesn't help him escape with his daughter, he will blow up the bomb and kill Spencer right away, and the blame will be on her. This makes Raven feel sorry for Spencer, and she decides to help Cooper. She takes Cooper and Riley in her car without any searches or investigations, and they drive off. Now, Cooper tells Raven that she will drop them off a little further ahead, and then he will take his car and leave with his daughter. The night will be over. However, Raven doesn't want to let Cooper go. She knows that if she leaves him, he will escape, and no one will be able to catch him again. Therefore, Raven tells Riley that she can take her to her house now, and they can spend some time there, singing together and having a good time. Raven keeps asking Cooper to agree, so he eventually agrees, knowing that if he doesn't, his daughter might become suspicious. Raven, Cooper, and Riley then go to Cooper's house. They stand in front of the house where Rachel, Cooper's wife, and their young son Logan are waiting. Rachel greets Raven and lets her into the house. Raven is now with everyone, and she starts talking about the butcher. She wants to understand whether Rachel is cooperating with her husband, Cooper, and knows that he is the killer, but has kept silent about it. Before she can say anything, Cooper stops her and asks her to leave. Raven doesn't care about what he says and asks Riley to play the piano and sing a song for them as a thank you for hosting her at their home. Riley agrees and sits down to play the piano while Raven asks her to take a photo together. However, Riley doesn't have her phone, so Raven quickly grabs Cooper's phone before he can stop her and takes a photo with Riley. Afterward, Raven takes the phone into the bathroom, locks the door, and starts watching the live video of Spencer that Cooper had filmed earlier. Raven starts talking to Spencer through the phone and asks him to describe the place where he's being held or give any hints that can help her find him. Spencer describes the place where he's held, and Raven then goes live from her phone, talking to her audience and describing the location where Spencer is being held. She asks anyone who knows the place to go and rescue Spencer. Afterward, Raven speaks to Rachel through the door, telling her that her husband, Cooper, is the serial killer known as the Butcher. At that moment, Cooper loses control and starts yelling at Rachel and the kids. After a short while, Raven notices that the sound stops completely, and after some time, Cooper bursts into the bathroom and forcibly opens the door. We learn that he had locked his wife and children in the upstairs room. Now, he takes the phone from Raven and looks through it to find Spencer. However, Spencer isn't there because someone managed to rescue him quickly. Cooper gets extremely angry and says he's going to kill Raven. He immediately takes her to his car to drive her to a safe place where he plans to kill her. However, when Cooper opens the garage door, he finds that his wife and children have escaped from the room he had locked them in and are now standing outside the house. Cooper can't do anything in front of his children, so he lets Raven go and tells her to say goodbye to each family member. He locks the garage, and after a while, the police arrive and break into the house, but they find that Cooper is gone. They continue to search the house, and at the same time, one of the officers is tasked with taking Raven far away from there. One of the officers drives with Raven, but after a short while, Raven notices the car has stopped. The officer who was with her gets out of the car, and she discovers that he is actually Cooper in disguise as an officer. He managed to escape from the house unnoticed, and now he has handcuffed Raven to a piece of metal in the car and starts driving to a place where he can kill her. However, after a while, Raven notices a lot of people nearby, so she quickly smashes the car window and shows herself to the crowd, asking for help. Everyone rushes to stop the car, preventing Cooper from driving away. Amid the chaos, Raven manages to free herself and gets out of the car just as the police arrive and shoot at Cooper. But when they check, they discover that Cooper has once again escaped from the car. Soon, we find that Cooper has returned to his old house, which is now with his wife, Rachel. His children, Logan and Riley, are at Rachel's siblings' house. Cooper tells Rachel that he decided to kill her because he believes she set him up. He remembers that some time ago, Rachel had been suspicious of him and had started acting differently toward him. At this point, Rachel decides to tell him the truth. She admits that she had known for a while that he was the serial killer, and that's why, in one of the crime scenes, she left a clue about a party he would attend, hoping the police would catch him there. Rachel tells him that she did this because she saw him as a danger to her children, and she couldn't allow him to continue killing innocent people. Rachel offers him a piece of cake, which they always used to eat together, and asks him to consider it their last meal together before he kills her. Cooper agrees, and they sit down to eat the cake. However, Cooper starts feeling sick and realizes that Rachel had put poison in the cake. He gets up to kill her, but his exhaustion prevents him from reaching her. He starts hallucinating about his deceased mother talking to him. At this moment, we realize that Cooper has gone completely mad, and his killings stem from the difficult childhood he had with his mother and family, who treated him horribly. This is not an excuse for Cooper's actions, but it shows how much parents can affect their children. Cooper finally snaps out of the hallucinations when the police arrive and shoot him with stun guns. They manage to arrest him. Afterward, the police take him outside and put him in the police car, heading for the jail. But before leaving, Cooper's daughter, Riley, and his son, Logan, arrive to say goodbye to him. Cooper sadly gets into the police car. In that moment, he manages to take a metal object and uses it to unlock his handcuffs. He's thrilled that he managed to do this, and we realize that he will most likely escape from the police and continue his killing spree, remaining mentally unstable. In the film's final scene, we see Jimmy sitting in his house, watching the news about the capture of the Butcher. He realizes that the Butcher is Cooper, the person he met at the theater. However, Jimmy, being a fool, isn't too shocked by this revelation. Instead, he becomes more excited that he has dealt with such a dangerous person. And that's a wrap on this intense thriller. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more movie recaps, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.